let's get into the first topic. We have a giant ETH milestone, and I meant to put this up, so I'm gonna type it in real quick. This is the ethburned.info website. If you go to ethburned.info, it tells you up to date per block how much Ethereum is getting burned, and we just crossed 1 billion. The price right there is definitely a little bit off. They have it under 3,800. I don't know where Ethereum's at, but it's certainly more than that right now. Ethereum's 42. So yeah, it's actually that number's off. It's not 3.8 billion. It's closer to 4.3 billion. In the last hour, we have 500 ETH. So we're getting millions of dollars burned every single hour. Almost $4 billion burned total. Over $4 billion turn. And as ETH increases, the dollar amount, the fiat amount is just going to keep going higher and higher. So they just burnt their millionth coin. Of course, this all began with the EIP 1559 that started in August. So we're looking at just 3 months, burning billions in just 3 months. So I want to ask you, Altcoin Daily, this I know you don't like predictions, but you got your finger on the pulse of the market here. You see what moves the needle. You've been in the space for a while. What do you think actually moves the price more? Is it actually the reduced supply and the supply-demand economics? Or is it everybody knowing that, oh, some ETH is being burned, so now I'm bullish and they just refuse to sell? Is it the actual burning or people knowing that it burns?
I would say yes.
A little bit of both.
If I had to get more specific, exactly, it would be the supply and demand. That's the base. That's what leads these giant price swings for Bitcoin. Ethereum has their own little halving in the sense of EIP 1559. And I think what's important for the audience is just because, and most people know this, but if you're maybe a newbie, just because Ethereum is being burned does not mean that every day is a deflationary day for Ethereum. It just depends how much use is on the network, how much is being burned. But what's important to me is, do you think 5 years from now, more people are coming into cryptocurrency or less people? Do you think we're trending up, more people coming digital, cryptocurrency going more mainstream, or less people? I personally think more people. I think ETH is a blue chip for a reason. So whether we, falter or dip or sway in the long term, next year, next month, 3 years from now, nobody knows. I'm looking at that broader trend up and to the right.
Okay, I like that. Yeah, and then that is an important distinction. Deflationary, it is becoming more or less inflationary, more deflationary, but some blocks are deflationary. The vast majority aren't. They are inflationary. It just slowed down the rate. So yeah, that is an important distinction. A lot of people think the supply is reducing. It's not reducing. Same thing with the Bitcoin halving. We've talked about it before. It's reducing the rate. Both are technically inflationary. So now, Ben, with ETH 2.0, we saw the huge run up with the EIP 1559. With ETH 2.0, do you expect a second large leg that, maybe that's how we hit that 8, 10, 12K? Do you think there is going to be a big blast off in Q1 2022?
No. I mean, look, we certainly could have a huge blast off for Ethereum in, Q1, as Bitcoin should top out by the end of December. I still believe that. I know it's sounding crazy, but I think by the end of December, it's not going to sound that crazy. If we look at what happened, I think it was Elio that posted on Twitter. Like, if you look at what happened in 2017, it went from 8,000 to 20,000 in the month from Thanksgiving to the end of December. I mean, really from Thanksgiving to December 17th. So in only 3 weeks, it over doubled. And so we don't have to go up that much. We just have to go up about, 80%, not 100%, to get to 100K and then bounce back down. So that could leave altcoins running in January like we saw in 2018. But it certainly won't be because of ETH 2.0, because that is a long process. That is not like a switch where they flip it on. It is going to start to move over to the beacon chain, but I don't think we're going to see transactions really speeding up. And somebody believes with me. They actually want to come arrest me right now for saying that. That must be the Bitcoin maxis.
That was a hot take. Yeah, hot take. They want to shut you down for that one.
Yeah, that's right. So, but the point is that it's not, ETH2 is not going to immediately change the market at all. It's a year to a year and a half process to make the total switch.
All right. Well, Brian, what are your thoughts on the ETH 2.0? Do you have any personal feelings on like what direction it will go? Do you think we'll kind of see some with the EIP 1559 where it's like Ben said, this is a long process that'll take years, but they have these like little micro steps. And sometimes with a micro step, you know, at least what we saw a few months back, that little micro step, it was successful, and it seemed like the price just took off. Do you have any predictions or thoughts of how this is going to play out next year?
So I think every step in this process is going to be important in seeing if they, can keep up with their timeline, and it's going to be good for ETH. Do I think it's going to move the market a lot? No, not really. I think it's just going to keep it. It's going to keep it at the top as long as it just keeps moving forward. I think right now, the only stuff that's really going to move the market is just hype announcements. Now, as they complete different parts of the process, okay, maybe that's good news, and good news will make it pump. But I mean, it's just right now it's all about trends and announcements and people positioning themselves, because crypto is here. Like, we are living in a crypto world now, and so however the media spins all this, however whatever good PR they can get out and make themselves relevant is what's going to pump stuff right now. Other than that, I mean, the actual tech of the project, increasing and getting better is always a good thing, and it's what we want to see as real hardcore investors. But as far as seeing it moon for any tech reason, I don't see that happening next year.
Okay. Now, we brought it up earlier. Now, Keeper, we do have deflationary blocks. Most blocks are inflationary. You know, it's still increasing the Ethereum that we're seeing here. Every now and then it'll happen, but, this is getting burned out of circulation. There is no more, Ethereum once that is burned. Why don't, just from a, for the person, the layperson, watching at home, why don't they just burn 10x, right? Like, why don't they just burn way more than they're burning now? Wouldn't that just be, great for the network if they just burned 20x, 50x what they're burning now?
I mean, ultimately, the ETH has to be used, right? We have NFT and DeFi. We have NFTs and DeFi, and that ultimately is what, in my estimation, is charging this deflationary aspect of ETH. And we need to be able to utilize it. You start stepping it up like that, and again, I'm not too deep on the actual technical side of things. It sounds good for tokenomics on the front end, but as far as actually being able to, fill blocks and use Ethereum for what it is intended for, I think you're going to run into problems doing that. So ultimately, no, I don't think that would be a good idea.
Yeah, I mean, it would have to come from somewhere, right? We'd have insane gas fees, but like maybe the ETH would go up. But I don't see how the gas fees could. You'd have to be a whale, right? You're sitting on $1 million and you're not minting NFTs every 10 minutes. Yeah, it's probably great for you, but the average user, it's definitely would fund the project. All right, well, let's get to the last topic. ADA gang.